On the 5th of July, 2000 of the 17th year, a man is sitting in front of a laptop in his villa in Bangkok. He is known only under the pseudonym Alpha02. He is a multimillionaire, lives a luxurious life, and drives expensive cars. He feels safe in Thailand. But suddenly, he hears a loud explosion in front of his house. A woman crashed her Toyota Camry into his gate. He throws all his business and runs out of the house to the scene of the accident. A mistake that cost him a lot. After all, the driver is an agent of the Royal Thai Police. FBI and D investigators have been waiting for this moment for months. The authorities of 7 countries worked tirelessly on this day. The hunt for the king of the Darknet ended today. In the yard of the beginning of the 2000th, the Darknet is gaining momentum. Promises of anonymity and privacy attract more and more people. Thanks to Bitcoin, a new form of payment has appeared uncontrolled by the authorities. It has become much easier for criminals to sell their products on the internet on a huge scale. With the advent of the Darknet, a giant global game began between the special services and intruders, which continues to this day.
Billions and billions of dollars.
Mole is perhaps the most legendary platform in the Darknet today. The platform was launched in February of the 2011 year and has become incredibly popular. More than 100,000 customers bought illegal substances there, but just 2.5 years later, the site operator was caught, and the mole force went offline. The authorities wanted to set an example in the fight against banned substances. The founder of the mole forces received a life sentence, but the business was too profitable, and it didn't scare anyone. Therefore, after the closure of the site, the number of dark markets increased dramatically. All of them fought for the championship. Forces Mole 2.0 was released just 35 days after the closure of its predecessor. The site lasted less than a year. Another popular platform, comparable in size to the two forces, was Evolution. To buy goods on Evolution, you had to transfer bitcoins about the platform, a kind of escrow in the Darknet. And as soon as the purchased goods arrived to the buyers, the sellers received payment. And because of this system, the platform operators constantly had incredible amounts of money. At some point, the Evolution operators decided to steal this money, the so-called exit scam. Agora was also called a worthy successor to the original Silkret, but the founders voluntarily took the site offline. Withdrawal scams, arrests, break-ins, and voluntary blackouts. All this has benefited the new Darknet market. Alphabay. In July of the 2014 year, a man calling himself Alpha02 begins the development of Alphabay. After just 5 months and his platform starts working. At first, only stolen credit card data is offered and sold on the platform, but Alphabay is quickly starting to offer more profitable products. In addition to data and logins, prohibited substances, weapons are now sold here, and money laundering services are also offered. There is also a list of things that are prohibited for sale. It includes everything related to children, information about escapes, and also stolen information about bank accounts from Russia. The site itself works similarly to Amazon. It is quite user-friendly. There are search functions, filters, as well as categories that can be paid with Bitcoin, Monero, or Ethereum. This is supposed to provide anonymity. Alphabay even offers a so-called cryptomixer, which erodes payment by combining several transactions from different people. The platform works well and dominates the Darknet. Alphabay is incredibly stable. The site has more than 200,000 registered users and 40,000 sellers. In the 2017 year, more than 300,000 products were placed on the Alphabay website, and the daily sales volume amounted to more than $500,000. Alpha02 earns money on each transaction, receiving a share of 2 to 4%, and very quickly becomes a multimillionaire. Now a whole team is working on Alphabay. Alpha02 has a representative named Disney, several moderators who resolve disputes between buyers and sellers, and a manager who managed to achieve explosive success of the site. The founder decides to move away from everyday activities. He renames himself with Alpha02 and becomes just an admin. From now on, all communication is carried out only through Disney. While Alpha02 was retiring, American investigators are paying more and more attention to his true identity. To who is behind the platform, controlling the Darknet? The hunt begins, which will cover the entire globe and last for several years. American investigators want to find out where AlphaBay's servers are located. Having access to the servers, they will be able to close the platform or secretly penetrate it and possibly determine the location of the operators. Finding out the location of servers, operators, and sellers is especially complicated. And because of this, American investigators had to go the other way. They begin to browse the platform and anonymously buy banned substances, hoping for a mistake by sellers. Perhaps the product, packaging, or postage stamps can give a clue to the identity of the merchant. Then he could be arrested, but this is just a small fish that appears and disappears. The investigators want Alpha02. However, AlphaBay's host seems to be taking every precaution. He seems to know all the rules of the game, so the investigators fall into despair. Until December 2000 of the 16th year. Robert Miller sits at his desk in Fresno, California. He works for the U.S. Agency for Combating Illegal Substances. He explores and studies AlphaBay, and until this day, it was a pretty thankless job. But suddenly a letter appears on his email. The sender is unknown. It seems that at the very beginning of work on AlphaBay, Alpha02 made a fatal mistake. Every user who registered on the site at that time received a welcome letter. The email address of the true sender was visible in the metadata of this email. Although the error was immediately corrected, an anonymous source saved one of the first welcome letters. Email address pimp alexnantyvan@hotmail.com. This letter was a breakthrough for Miller and his colleagues. Investigators find photos of Alex's 2008 and 2009 years on the site skyrock.com. It is a French-speaking social media platform. On Skyrock, they find a link to an old profile on a dating site. The profile shows his hometown of Trois-Rivières. It is located in southern Quebec, Canada. According to the profile, he was 17 years old at the time, so the 91st in his email address may be the year of his birth. At the time of the founding of AlphaBay, he was only 23 years old. The username Alpha02 also appears on one forum in French. In the 2008 year, he explained how to remove the virus from the image. At the bottom of the post, his email address is indicated, as well as his full name, Alexander Cases. The investigators have his name, but where is he? They find his PayPal account. There he also provided his personal email address. Through his LinkedIn profile, they find out that he works as a freelance software designer. In addition, he seems to run his own company called Ebex Technologies. Facebook investigators find the profile of his fiancée, and it looks like she's from Thailand. Apparently, the Canadian lives there. The clues found lead investigators to the country's capital. Bangkok. With the help of the Thai authorities, the investigation team identifies 3 properties belonging to the case. One house is located in a gated community. Alpha02 lives there with his wife. The second house and mansion worth $3 million is located on the outskirts of Bangkok. He also has a holiday home in Phuket and is in the process of buying another villa in Cyprus. Investigators are starting to follow him. The lifestyle of a multimillionaire includes several cars. Kazoos are happy to drive around Bangkok in their Lamborghini. Agents keep an eye on him and follow his routes, also tracking his iPhone. While Kaza lives in a beautiful house with his wife, he invites his many mistresses to one of his other houses in Bangkok. Investigators called this place a bachelor's den. The incident is quite a funny guy because he constantly sits on forums for pickups where men give advice on how to succeed with women. Under the nickname Romeo, Kazis publishes conservative family values and leads a blog about his successful sexual life. Otherwise, his daily life is quite ordinary, but quite unusual as for the king of the Darknet. He gets up early, checks social media accounts, works a lot from home, attends language courses from time to time, or goes to eat with his wife. The authorities are planning his arrest in as much detail as possible. In June 2017, a few weeks before the attack, A group of American agents is sitting in the lobby of the five-star Athena Hotel in Bangkok. Suddenly, Kazes appears, parking his Porsche Panamera at the entrance, and casually strolling through the lobby, straight to the agents. There are thousands of hotels in Bangkok. Did the agents get caught? Has the king of the Darknet outplayed them? Alexander Kazes sits down at a table a few meters from the agents. They have never been so close to him, but nothing unusual happens, because he just meets another person at a business dinner. It was an incredible coincidence. But here absolutely no one suspects that in just a month the incident will be dead. Alpha Bay is the largest Darknet market in the world at the moment, but there is competition in Europe. The Hans market is growing rapidly and haunts the European authorities. Dutch researchers find Hans market servers thanks to a tip from a security researcher. They are located in a data center in the Netherlands. There is a unique opportunity. They monitor servers, copy data, and dig into countless chat records of site operators. They find out that the operators are Germans who probably still live in Germany. Together with the German Federal Criminal Police, the Dutch want to put the Hans market under their control. But suddenly, the Hans market disappears from the Dutch servers. Admins probably found out that their servers were copied. The authorities also find several Bitcoin addresses in operators' chats. They start tracking the transactions of these Bitcoin wallets until they end up on the Dutch cryptocurrency exchange. They contact the exchange and request data. Bitcoins lead to Lithuania. Together with the authorities of this country, the Germans and the Dutch are trying to discover new servers. This time, the authorities want to strike, but something unexpected happens. The FBI informs the European authorities of its plans to arrest Alpha 02 and close Alpha Bay. The BN operation is starting to gain momentum. It is conducted under the leadership of the FBI and the D, and involves the cooperation of law enforcement agencies from 7 countries. Europol is also involved in the operation. The FBI has been instructed to wait for the destruction of Alpha Bay until the Dutch, in cooperation with the Germans, take control of the Hans market. If Alpha Bay is destroyed, new buyers and sellers will rush to Hans. This often happens on the Darknet. With this data, the Dutch will be able to convict thousands of unsuspecting criminals. Alexander Kazes doesn't know anything. He continues to drive around Bangkok in his Lamborghini, writes nonsense on his favorite forum, and cheats on his wife. On the 20th of June of the 17th year, the first part of the mission succeeds. The data processing center in Lithuania is stormed by Dutch special forces. At the same time, the German authorities arrest 2 operators in Siegen and Cologne. Operators cannot warn anyone about their arrest. The Hans market is controlled by the Netherlands, and no one in the Darknet even suspects it. 5th of July, 2017 year, Bangkok. The time has come. There is a warrant for the arrest of Alexander Kazes. Today, the Royal Thai Police, the D and the FBI will arrest him. Alpha 02 can finally be sent to jail after more than 2 years. A gray Toyota Camry pulls up on a dead-end road to the house of Kazes with an agent of the Royal Thai Police at the wheel. She wants to turn around, but accidentally gets into a small accident. The noise and chaos should lure Kazes out of his house. He should come out spontaneously, without thinking. This part is insanely important. In the optimal case, his devices should remain unlocked when he is arrested. If his hard drives are locked and encrypted, it will be difficult for the authorities to gain access to Alpha Bay. The incident leaves the house and approaches the Toyota. Suddenly, several officers try to grab him. He tries to run into the house, perhaps to turn off the computer, but they grab him. Investigators run into his house and look for a laptop. It is in the bedroom in the switched-on state, and nothing is blocked. The operation was successful. Alpha 02 is still logged into the server where Alpha Bay is located. Investigators search the laptop and find several passwords to the site and the site's servers. The Canadian's fortune is $23 million. The authorities will confiscate his luxury cars, house, hotel, and millions in cryptocurrency. The Canadian's wife has also been charged. A Thai woman is accused of money laundering. A week later, on the 12th of July, Alexander Kazes is found dead. He committed suicide while in custody. The king of the Darknet has gone down in history. The closure of Alpha Bay and the authorities are deliberately kept secret. When the platform suddenly shuts down, no one knows why. Fraud with withdrawal of funds, hacking or resignation of operators. Nobody knows. As expected, countless users are switching to other Darknet platforms, including the Hans market. For 4 weeks, the Dutch authorities have been monitoring thousands of criminals trading on the platform. And now, on the 20th of July, 2017 year, the Hans market also closes. On the same day, the US Department of Justice announces the termination of the activities of Alphabay and Hans, which is a huge success for the world authorities.
Today, the Department of Justice announces the takedown of the dark web market Alphabay. This is the largest dark market web place takedown in world history.
The Darknet itself is not an evil technology designed only for criminals. We need places on the internet where informants and journalists are relatively safe. However, sites like Alphabay are still part of the picture. The global game is still far from over. The demand for illegal banned substances, weapons, counterfeit money and malware is too high. The Hansa and Alphabay market was not immediately forgotten. There were several new Darknet markets that positioned themselves better than the previous leaders of the Darknet. The same Hydra was at times more than twice as superior to Alphabay. In the 21st year, it was also closed by the German and American authorities. So now there is a new competition called the King of the Darknet, a promising contender. Disney. He relaunched Alphabay in the 21st year and still manages the market to this day.